The Fast Unto Death campaign commenced by a group including Venerable Theripahe Siridhammathera demanding a solution to the water crisis facing the Ratupaswala area is still underway. The decision to continue with the hunger strike was taken due to dissatisfaction with the result of talks that were held yesterday.
On the 27th of July, residents of Ratupaswala in Gampaha commenced a demonstration demanding a solution to a drinking water crisis being faced by villagers including Suralumulla, Nadumgamuwa and Urwala in Gampaha. They charged that residents have been contracting various diseases through the consumption of water sourced from wells in the area. They claimed that waste from a factory in the Nadumgamuwa area in Gampaha was contaminating their water supply. On the 28th of July, residents rallied once again in the hope of holding discussions with the relevant authorities regarding the water crisis being faced by them. The residents commenced a hunger strike, citing the fact that authorities had failed to turn up for the scheduled discussions. Meanwhile, more residents who converged upon the Ratupaswala public sports ground in Gampaha yesterday pledged their support to the hunger strike. A discussion was held last evening regarding the problem. Authorities at the discussion said that a committee would be appointed representing all sections that would furnish a report within 2 weeks regarding the water crisis. However, when the demonstrators were informed of the decision, they protested against it. Villagers said they would not cease the hunger strike until they receive a solution to this problem. The demonstrators converged on the factory which they charge is the cause of the problem and staged a protest last night. 3 days have now passed since the hunger strike at the Ratupaswala public sports ground in Gampaha commenced. Meanwhile, 2 Buddhist monks from 2 viharas in the area arrived at the location today and pledged support to the hunger strike. Minister Mervyn Silva and the senior DIG of police in charge of the Western Province, Anura Senanayaka, also arrived at the location today. No matter how much foreign exchange is earned, if it poses a problem to the people, then it is a problem. We will take the matter to court, show the court the burden of the people and seek a resolution there. No one can violate court orders in this country. Court will convene at about 9:30 or 10 tomorrow. I too will be going to court and you too should come there. I am Mervyn Silva. People who engage in racing and gambling also make profits and losses. The same applies for those who dabble in casinos. We must protect foreign exchange coming into the country. There is a large gathering here and monks too have come here. There is to be a discussion in the church later as well. It is 10 a.m. now in Gampaha. There is a tense situation here. You will have to suffer some loss on behalf of the country until we go to court at 10 o'clock tomorrow. Please shut this down from now until we go to court at 10 o'clock tomorrow. It is Mervyn Silva who was appointed by you that is speaking to you today. If there is a problem faced by the people, then I am on the side of the people and not on the side of the government. The factory will be closed. I am going to go there now and close the factory. That is all. Subsequently, the minister visited the factory in question and requested that it be closed down. Our reporter says that the employees subsequently left the factory. Speak to the monks and get my telephone number. If you have a problem, call me. I am on your side. If you sign and give it, I will resign from my ministry. I do not need it. It is the people that matter to me. I will not resign my seat in parliament. I am now looking for the person who assaulted my son. A heavy security presence was evident in the area at this instance.
Now, speaking at a workshop on groundwater management held at the BMICH in Colombo this morning, Nimal Siripala de Silva, the Minister of Irrigation and Water Resource Management, said the government has forgotten the need for environment protection in its development programs.
We have forgotten the need for environmental protection, etc., in our development programs. When we look at very short term, this naturally happens. So therefore the time here is right now for the right thinking people of this country to criticize our own policies, to talk about these things, to be more sensitive to environment, to be more sensitive for clean water. So that is very much needed. Not only to praise saying that the government is doing all good things.
This workshop, organised by the Water Resources Board, was held under the auspices of Minister Nimal Siripala de Silva.
His Holiness Pope Francis has said that he is considering accepting invitations to visit Sri Lanka and the Philippines. Speaking during his return journey to Vatican City following the conclusion of his visit to Brazil, the Pope had said he would choose either Sri Lanka or the Philippines as one of the destinations on his Asian tour.
The Pope, speaking to reporters aboard the plane taking him home from Brazil, spoke openly about how much he had enjoyed his first papal visit outside Italy. There was a lot of speculation about where the Pope's next foreign visit would be. Many thought he would try and visit his homeland, Argentina, soon, but Pope Francis surprised everyone by saying he thought his next visit would be to Jerusalem and then probably Asia before he would visit Argentina. The Pope offered Philippines and Sri Lanka as the two likely candidates.
The reason why this has arisen all of a sudden is, as he was coming back to Rome from Brazil, he, in the course of a press conference or a media conference, a person had asked him what is the country that he would wish to visit next. Then immediately he has said Asia, and then he has mentioned about Sri Lanka and Philippines. So this has given rise to many kind of thinking, and then also a lot of talk among the media people. One thing I must tell you, that the Holy Father would have mentioned about Sri Lanka, but for him to come to Sri Lanka, there is a certain formality that we need to follow. That is, the church needs to invite him first to the Sri Lankan soil, and then also together with the state, the government, the church has to work in close collaboration. And then once the government okays the coming, then they notify it to the Vatican, and the Vatican decides on the day, the time, and all other details. And then they start to negotiate and then see how this could be realized with the quickest time.
Heads of the Catholic Church have visited Sri Lanka only on two prior occasions. In 1970, His Holiness Pope Paul VI arrived in Sri Lanka en route to the Philippines. Pope Paul VI spent 3 hours in transit at the Bandaranaike International Airport and held a special mass there prior to his departure. In 1995, His Holiness Pope John Paul II visited Sri Lanka on an invitation extended by the Sri Lanka Catholic Bishops' Conference and the then President of the country.
On Business News tonight, the Ceylon Petroleum Corporation says preliminary tests have shown that 30,000 metric tons of petrol that arrived at the Colombo port did not meet the required standards. Managing Director of the CPC, Susantha Silva, speaking to Newsfirst, said that further tests are being conducted on the stock of petrol which was imported from a Singaporean company.
The CPC has not reached a conclusion on the test results. The preliminary investigations that were conducted on 90-octane and 95-octane petrol have revealed decimal point difference. That will not be a reason for a conclusion to be reached. There are more tests to be conducted. If we reach a decision that the stock of fuel does not meet the required standards, we will tell them to take it back.
However, trade unions attached to the CPC say that they have doubts on the tests that are being conducted on this stock of fuel.
The CPC has a history of experience which goes back 51 years, and we have laboratories. We are doubtful as to what sort of tests are being conducted to determine the difference in the octane level. What we see is that such issues arise when fuel that has not gone through our refining process is purchased from Singaporean and other companies. There has been a transparent process since 2011 to purchase fuel from other refineries. Why are we not adhering to that?
There is a risk that potato farmers in the country are abandoning the crop in favour of other crops. Newsfirst Harshamalan Naika, who recently visited the Boralanda area, met with potato farmers who have abandoned the cultivation of potatoes.
Potatoes became a much discussed topic in the country in the recent past following the drastic fall in prices that affected potato farmers. We visited the area to inquire into the hardships faced by them. Farmers in Boralanda, Bandarawala have already commenced preparing their lands for the coming harvest season. However, as a result of losses incurred through potato cultivation at the last harvest season, some farmers have resorted to cultivating other crops. I used to cultivate potatoes, but I incurred heavy losses last time. That is why I switched to carrot. We lost about 12,000 rupees per 50 pounds last time. Farmers say that they face numerous hardships owing to the high price of seed potatoes and the reduced crops that these seed potatoes yield. Farmers also point out that low-priced imported produce has led to the fall in prices of locally produced potatoes. Because of imported potatoes, it is difficult for ordinary people to produce more owing to the high prices. All of the farmers in Valimada were left to despair after cultivating large amounts of potatoes at the last harvest season. We are only asking that the government give us a good price for our produce.
4 fishing vessels capsized near the Karakapane estuary in Shillao early this morning, claiming the life of one fisherman. The victim, who drowned at about 5:30 this morning, was a father of 2. Fishermen charged that authorities are yet to respond to their request for a breakwater to be set up in this accident-prone area.
Fishermen of Shillao who ply their trade amidst many hardships set out to sea by putting their lives on the line. Fishermen say their boats constantly meet with accidents owing to the lack of breakwater near the estuary. 4 boats capsized at dawn today after being caught in the current. 52-year-old Samaravira Leslie, a resident of Melpura in Shillao, drowned in the incident. Newsfirst made inquiries from Deputy Minister Niamal Pereira, a public representative from the district, regarding the construction of a breakwater at this estuary.
I held discussions with His Excellency the President. He has instructed for a long-arm backhoe machine to be sent to this area. We are unable to construct a breakwater due to rough seas during this season. But as per my request, 40 million rupees has been allocated for this project.
Lives of fishermen at risk and boats damaged due to the absence of a breakwater at the Karakapane estuary. A fisherman dies after his boat capsizes in Ridivalla, Shillao, in close proximity to the estuary. A fisherman dies after a boat capsizes in Alutwatta, Shillao. Another fisherman lost his life today. 3 fishermen killed within the course of 3 weeks due to the absence of a breakwater. When will a breakwater be constructed at this estuary that is a death trap for fishermen?